We just went live. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm with Cliff Cash again. For those of you who have seen the content before, Cliff is an old comedy buddy of mine, and as it turns out, we are very, very politically aligned. And so I feel like this administration, if anything, has brought us closer. Cliff, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's brought all the decent people closer, and I was saying the other day, like, as much as of a disaster as all this is, um, Donald Trump didn't make all these people awful. He showed us who was awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
These people didn't suddenly turn into awful human beings when Donald Trump came along. So, the red hats and the yard signs and the bumper stickers is like, okay, awful person. There's another awful person. It's kind of been helpful to kind of see who's who. So it's always
yeah,
an upside.
yeah, absolutely. And it's also shown us who the good guys are. Like
Yeah.
it is, I've made a lot of friends that I of people I did not know before. Also, there are even some comics that I only kind of knew before that I've now bonded over our mutual disdain for fascism, and so
Yeah.
that's been nice. And one thing that I really like that you're doing is there are a lot of people like, look, I spend my time on this. The way I fight back is I try to rally the troops, I try to get messaging out there, and I try to give people basic arguments that they can use with their families. Um, you you're out there on the front lines more than most of us.
I'm trying, man. It's it's kind of exhausting and sometimes discouraging. Um but yeah, I honestly I don't really want to be. I just feel like not enough is being done
Mhm.
and I don't know who's going to do it, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like it's kind of incumbent on all of us to do what we can do, and so I've been winging it. I just kinda, like, started last January, like, "Alright, I'm gonna do this and see if anybody shows up," and, that's kinda morphed into pretty regular protests and political actions, and I've kinda built a little plan that I'm trying to follow, and I'm trying to get other people to follow, and, some events are more heartening than others, but I I like Indivisible and 5051, I think they've done incredible work. It's great to see all these people showing up. Um, in a way, though, it's almost like people are like, well, I'm going to protest, every 6 weeks on a Saturday in a park. And that's probably my thing that I'm going to do. And so when these smaller groups that don't have a national reach, the groups I'm involved with, we're like, hey, we want you to go to your congressional representatives' offices nationwide and go and talk shit to their faces. And it's like, well, I think I'm holding off for that, gathering in the park every 6 weeks. So it's been cool that they're doing what they're doing. I almost feel like it's given people like, oh, this is my resistance. Like I'm already doing this. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And, it's okay that that's happening, but we also need to do a lot more. We need actions with teeth. We need to show up at their homes and their offices and their businesses, and, um, there's a reason that the Department of Justice lost their mind when those protesters went into that church in Minnesota
Yeah,
and said, "Your preacher is an ICE director. This isn't Christianity." No one as far as I know, no one used foul language, certainly no one used any type of violence, but
yeah,
they
and yet
lost their
they've arrested like 30 people now.
Oh, yeah, and they lost their minds because that's shocking to them, like, "Oh my god, these people can come into our churches." It's like, "Yeah, we can, and we can also show up, like, in your yard. We can show up in front of your house. We can go to your businesses. If you're a congressperson and you also own a hardware store, the people your constituents should be at your hardware store protesting. They should be clogging the aisles. They should be shutting down the parking lots. If you're supporting this ICE terror, and the obstruction of the Epstein files, we have to get in these people's faces and make them nervous. And if the action that you're doing isn't making them nervous, you probably are wasting your time doing it.
Well, I so a couple things on that. First of all, Cindy Frey Perry in the chat said, "Will either of you ever run for office, please?" I don't know your response. My response to that is always, "I don't like meetings." I would much rather like I looked into it. I looked into it hard. I interviewed people who have been elected. I've interviewed people who ran, and not public interviews, just asking them about the life and what it means. And it's not something I feel like I would enjoy at all. I'd rather talk shit from here. But that said, I do want to make a couple of points there. One, y- you know, it's hard to it's difficult that we are all distracted by our lives. We
Yeah.
are all like there are limitations. There are, I get asked to speak at an event in Charlotte, and I was like, I had a baby a week ago. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And, I could barely speak, let alone go somewhere. Now things are settled down a little bit more. It's been 6 weeks, but um also there is a difference, and and people have to understand the choice of there's a difference between protesting somewhere where it's legal to protest and protesting somewhere where it's not. And that is a choice for each individual to make.
But
Protesting on the sidewalk outside of someone's house is very different than going into their yard. And
yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant. Like
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to the yard.
Well, one of the things I really like that you were doing was standing outside the Heritage Foundation with a megaphone, just, roasting people. And that brings me to, the main reason I wanted to do this with you right now when I'm not doing a lot of lives is, what are you doing in Florida? Tell us what you're doing in Florida.
We're gonna march as close as we can get to Donnie's backyard at Mar-a-Lago. So I'm actually pivoting the location of the rally, but I'll update all that on my socials and stuff. But basically, I'm having a show, which is really a rally, and it's comedy from me, music from Earth to Eve, poetry from Robert Arnold. We're going to have Dr. Ali Muhammad from the Revolutionary Black Panther Party. We're going to have a couple congressional candidates. My friend Ariane Betancourt is going to talk about her father being held right now in Alligator Alcatraz. She's with the Workers Circle, who is a national group that's gone back to the days of the bridge at Selma, and just has done incredible work for decade. So, I mean, just a really strong lineup of speakers, um, music, comedy, poetry. So, we're going to get the people there to the event. And I've been saying my goal with this event with Robert Arnold's poetry, if anybody hasn't heard his poetry, he's Defiance 13 on social media, Defiance Till Death. His poetry is heartbreaking and beautiful. It's really profoundly well done, especially at this moment in political history. So it's going to start with a poem from Robert. It's going to go to "Have You Heard the News Today" by Earth to Eve, and then it's going to be this slow build out of that sort of heartache, that place of heartache. We're going to slowly build up to you feeling reinvigorated and hyped up, and then we're going to march as close as the as law enforcement will let us get to Mar-a-Lago, which I think will probably be the bridge on Southern Boulevard that essentially is you're when you're on that bridge, you're essentially looking at his backyard there. Um, if we have a big enough crowd, he's going to know about it. I promise you. And
Yes.
the messaging is impeach the pedophile. So we'll have a ton of signs for people that say impeach the pedophile. I'll have a massive banner at the front of the march. We're asking other people to make signs that have that message on them. You can also make signs about ICE and Epstein and everything else, but we really want the phrase impeach the pedophile to be prominent because we want those photos to go viral. We want videos of this to go viral. We want media to pick it up. Um,
And
like
Cliff,
all
what
action,
what day is this?
it's this coming Saturday in West Palm Beach. It's called 3 Miles to Mar-a-Lago. Although I am now pivoting the venue, I've got us a venue that's more sort of appropriate to what we're doing, and it's actually a half a mile from Mar-a-Lago. So we're going to be a hop, skip, and a jump from that bridge.
So
And
March 7th, so Saturday, March 7th, in West Palm Beach. just a quick summary for a good little internet clip here.
Yeah.
Saturday, March 7th, half mile from Mar-a-Lago. People can come and experience some joy first because joy is resistance, and
Yep.
then march with Cliff Cash and a bunch of other people as close to the gates of Mar-a-Lago as they'll let them. And how do people get tickets? Find out more.
If you just go to comediancliffcash.com, it's the first thing you'll see on my homepage, and you can click on that. It'll take you to all the details. We've got a couple different ticketing options. It's really more of a donation. That's going to pay for signs, banners, safety vests, bottled water, security, all the
So it's
stuff that
free. It's free-ish.
it's free-ish. We would really like people to
Yeah,
commit some
it's
type of
it's
fun.
it's donation based, which is,
Yeah.
a great way to do activism, and, people need to understand that there are costs. It always makes me laugh when someone on the right will post a thing of like, "Oh, do you think these protests aren't paid for? Well, how'd they get this sign?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
FedEx office. It was like
exactly.
probably $120. Like, do you have like, oh, no one could possibly have that much money at a protest.
Well,
But anyway, I hate the timing is almost perfect. I'll be down in Florida a few days later.
uh,
Um, I have a yeah, I'm going to have a show in South Carolina that night, and
nice.
I'll be in Florida 2 days after that. But I just, I wanted to make sure we highlighted this to my viewers, just so that, people understand that there are ways to get involved. There are so many people who ask me, like, at shows or on social media, like, "Well, what can I do?" And I think that's the most common question. And to me, the answer is, 1, be loud. Be as loud as your life allows you to be. I understand that not everyone has a job that allows that. I understand that not everyone has a family that allows that. But be as loud as you can be. Also, go to stuff, whether it is entertainment stuff. And so, again, joy is resistance, and you surround yourself with like minded people, and you feel like you're more in a community and you don't feel so isolated. But then also, go to actual events. There are events like what Cliff is doing. Like No Kings is great, and it, makes us all feel good, and that's wonderful. But at the same time, there are local things where you can go to your local representative's office. And I don't even just mean your local congressperson. I mean your state senator. I mean your city council. Like, there are events like this. And so, the what can you do is get involved, be present, be loud.
Absolutely. And I've been partnering with a group called Flair in DC, and Flair leads citizens into the halls of Congress every Monday. So on September 2nd, we led 1,500 citizens into the halls of Congress to go into these people's offices. And I'm telling you, nobody does that. The NRA doesn't do that. Susan Komen, pro-life, no other organization is doing. We all should as citizens, because it's our constitutional right to do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can go into Congress. You go through a metal detector just like the airport. You don't have to take your shoes off, and you can keep your water. You can probably even have more than 4 ounces of shampoo if you really had to. But you go into these offices and nobody can stop you. I mean, I walked into Lindsey Graham's office and said, "Can I speak with Lady G?" And his staff was like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "Lady G, is Lady G here?" Because that's his name in the gay bars.
Yeah.
And because he's closeted, which is totally fine. I respect his right to be. I just wish he'd be
Yeah. Just not his
nicer.
right to be a hypocrite about the rights.
Exactly, and everything
Yeah.
else that he talks about.
By
But
by the
yeah,
way, quick segue. So I live in Charlotte, right on the border of South Carolina, and because of that, sometimes the commercials I get on TV are South Carolina commercials.
yeah.
And I've been seeing one for Lindsey Graham that is so funny because it starts with a woman being like, "I don't follow politics," but I'm like, that is his target audience. His
Uh,
target audience is uninformed people who
100%.
don't know how terrible he is. And I find that hilarious. Anyway, go ahead.
Listen, this might sound crazy, but I don't read or even listen to anything intellectual. I wouldn't say I'm a college or high school graduate, Um,
I'm not one of those fancy book people, and because
yeah.
of that, I like Lindsey Graham. Yeah.
I can barely find my own country on a map, but I know a lot about recessions.
I didn't know there were 2 Carolinas.
I always say, like, it's fascinating to be on social media and watch people who are baffled by then and then trying to tell me about inflation and the deficit. It's like, dude, you can't like you literally haven't mastered like third grade level grammar. This prickly labyrinth of letters that is two and two with an extra O. Like if you're baffled by
Yeah.
that, you're not gonna believe this, but I don't respect your opinion about the economy.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
but
someone just asked a great question in this actually.
oh,
Violet Hunter asked, "I live in a blue district in Maryland, but my mom and sisters live in Alabama. Can I visit MAGA Alabama reps and senators on Capitol Hill, or are we only allowed to visit our own?"
no, no. When we lead people into Congress in DC, we so let's say we have 1,500 and there's 2 Senate buildings and 3 House buildings. We would split that into 300 per building. And it's kinda up to you to research where your representative's building is and say, "Hey, I gotta be in group B because that's where my" we can't, it's that's too much detail for us to be able to organize all of that. So what we ask is to send so let's say we send 300 people into one of these buildings and that building has 3 floors. We'll split that group into 100 per floor, and then that group, when they get to, say, the 3rd floor, they might split into like 3 groups of 30 because 30 people walking into Lauren Boebert's office, that never happens. Like literally it never happens.
I
So
just
then
I just picture the elevators open and just a clown car of people come out.
yeah. And so as soon as you leave one of those offices, they call and go, "Hey, there's like groups going to all the offices." So they're all talking to each other. So they know. They're like, "Holy shit, we had huge crowds come into every single office on the Hill today." Um, and so we'll do that for a couple of hours, and then we tell people, "Hey, when you're done with your main group, then, like, do all the Googling you can do, go see your reps, go see, like, your least favorite rep, whether you're from that state or not. Like, if you hate Nancy Mace as much as I do, go tell her to her face, leave her
Yeah,
a
go
note."
go
What
bring her a drink, you know?
Yeah,
That she pretends she doesn't drink.
yeah.
I, like, I just think that, that's wonderful because so much influence is held in DC by lobbyists, and the idea of, "No, no, no, you forget a lobbyist, there's gonna be 1,500 of us instead."
Yeah.
Cliff, I gotta go get back to being a dad.
Okay.
But I'm so glad that you were able to join me on this. I'm so glad that
Yeah,
you're
man.
doing what you're doing. And for anyone in Florida or who wants to go to Florida or people who know people in Florida, this Saturday in West Palm Beach, Cliff is doing a show with some really wonderful, wonderful artists and activists, and then marching over to Mar-a-Lago to make their voice heard. And I think that that's absolutely incredible. So please go do that, join in, follow Cliff if you don't already. And
I'm C I'm Cliff Cash Comedy on all platforms, and the website with all the details, and tickets to the show is comediancliffcash.com. Um Yeah, and if you're in South Florida or know people that are, just please spread the word. I wanna have a big enough crowd that we really make a splash.
yeah,
And any excess funds after everything's paid, if I sell enough spots, I'm also gonna get some digital billboard trucks with some very, bothersome, language on them, and I'm gonna circle those around West Palm Beach too. I've done that before already. I'll post some of that on my socials today so people can see it. But any funds that are left over will be distributed amongst the, pro-democracy nonprofits that are involved in the action. So groups like the Workers Circle and the Black Panther Party, American Opposition, United Plus, Flare. So
I
and
love that. Can we get a truck that says the president of California is a pedophile? Because I bet that it'll take them a second to realize what that means.
well, they'll be like, "Gavin Newsom?" They're not
Yeah.
smart enough. They're not smart enough for nuance or sarcasm. The last one I did was, you know how all these officials have to raise their hand and take their oath.
Yeah,
So the last one I did was a massive digital billboard truck, and it had Bondi, Patel, Vance, Bongino, and Mike Johnson all with their hands up, and it just said, "Raise your hand if you like protecting pedophiles."
that's fantastic.
And then the
We
web
gotta talk about this. I have some ideas.
Yeah,
I have some ideas and can do some fundraising. So maybe we'll make some trucks.
I sent 4 of those, in a line. I told the company, I was like, "I don't want them spread out. I want them in a line driving behind each other." 4 of them just circling the central business district of DC for 12 hours,
That's
just
fantastic.
driving behind each other, so
Oh, I gotta learn more about that and how much that stuff costs and how to set it up. We gotta work on that stuff together.
absolutely.
All right, Cliff, thank you so much. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please go follow Cliff and go to his stuff, especially this Saturday in West Palm. Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you, buddy. See you soon.